In our today's video, we are going to discuss about complex numbers. So now in our previous video, we have learned about what is meant by complex number, imaginary number, forms of complex number, and also we have discussed about the operations on complex number. What are the basic operators? Plus, minus, multiplication and division, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. This much we have learned in our previous video. Now in this video, we are going to learn about powers of I, modulus of complex number and argument of complex number. Now first, we are going to learn about what are the powers of I. What is I? I is iota, which is the imaginary numbers. Now suppose if I write I, what is I? I is equal to square root of negative 1. I is equal to square root of negative 1. We also know that what is I squared? I squared is square root of negative 1 the whole square, which is equal to minus 1. What is I cube? I cube means I squared into I. So minus 1 into I will be negative I. So I to the power 3 will be negative I. Next, I to the power 4. What is I to the power 4? I to the power 4 is minus 1 the whole square. I squared is negative 1. See, I squared the whole square is equal to I to the power 4. 2 into 2 is 4. So I squared. What is I squared? I squared is negative 1. Negative 1 the whole square will be I to the power 4. What is negative 1 the whole square? Negative 1. Negative 1 into negative 1 will give us 1. So I to the power 4 will be equal to 1. We know this much powers. I to the power 4 till I to the power 4 we know I is equal to square root of negative 1. I squared is equal to square root of negative 1 the whole square, which is equal to negative 1. Next is I cube is equal to negative I. Next is I to the power 4 is 1. I to the power of 4 is 1. This identity, that is I to the power 4 is 1, is very important. Why? What if I say that find the value of I to the power 888? Then how to find it? Now here, suppose if I take this number, that is I to the power 888, and now if I make it into a type of I to the power 4, if I make it into type of I to the power 4, so now we know that 888 is divisible by 4. So let's divide 4 to the 8. (888) divided by 4. So we'll get 222. We'll get 222. What is the remainder? Remainder is 0. What is the quotient? Quotient is 222. So we can write I to the power 888 as I to the power 4 to the power 222 to the power 422. What is I to the power 4? I to the power of 4 is 1. So we can write it as 1 to the power 222. What does it mean? It means that 1 multiplied like this 222 times, which will be equal to 1. So we can say that I to the power 188 will be equal to 1. Now what if the power, the exponent is over here, is not divisible by 4? Then write it in addition format. So suppose if I take 252. Suppose if I take 252. I to the power 252. And I have to find its value. Then how do I find its value? Now here divide 252 by 4. So here 252, 4, 6, 1, 2. Here remainder is 0. It is divisible by 4. So now if I take here 3. Then now if I divide it by 3, then 253 divided by 4. 6 less 24, 1, 3, 4, 3, days 12, 1. I will get a remainder 1 over here. So I can write it as this as I to the power 4 whole to the power 63 plus I to the power what? I to the power 1 plus I to the power 1 like this, or plus 1 plus I to the power into I to the power 1 like this, I to the power 1. So I to the power 4 raised to the power 63 into I to the power 1. So what is I to the power 4? I to the power 4 is 1. So 1 to the power 63. 1 to the power 63 into I to the power 1. So 1 to the power 63 is 1 into I, which will be equal to I, which means that I to the power 253 is equal to I. I also, that is root of negative 1. Root of negative 1 is the answer, that is I to the power 253, which is equal to I. This is finding the powers of I. So now what is I to the power x? We can find I to the power x by writing this the value of x as the multiple of 4 and writing it in the numerator, quotient and remainder format. That is, remainder also can be added. So here multiplied by I to the power the remainder, I to the power the remainder, then we will get the value of I to the power x. So now this is all about the exponents, that is the exponents of I, that is I to the power x. This is all about I to the power x. So now what about the modulus and argument? Now what is meant by modulus and argument? Now what is meant by modulus and argument? Now we know what is meant by modulus, like this mod sign and this is x. Mod sign and this x. But what about complex numbers? What about complex number? Now let's see that if we can plot the graph for it. Now suppose if I take this graph, also known as Argand plane. This is real axis, real part of z. This is imaginary part of z. Now here this is the complex number, which is a plus ib. A plus ib is the complex number. This is a plus ib is the complex number. Now if I plot it on the Argand plane. Now if I plot it on the Argand plane, that is, suppose let's say that this is a unit, this is b, this is b, this is imaginary part, b is the imaginary part into I. So now if I plot the point, now if I plot this point as a plus ib, this is a plus ib. We know that this is a plus ib now, that is a comma b. That is a comma b. This is a comma b. Coordinates are a comma b. In this point represents which equation of complex number? That is a plus ib. It can be 2 plus 3i also, any number, that is minus 2 plus 3i. It will lie in the different coordinates. It will lie in the different quadrants. Now if I take this point and joined it with the origin, joined it with the origin point like this, then what will be this length? This length will be modulus. This will be modulus of z, that is modulus of a plus ib. What will be this angle? This angle be theta, let it be theta. This is a right angle triangle. Now what is this length? This length is real part of z, that is a. This length is a. What is this length? This length and this length are equal, that is this length is b, which is imaginary part of z. We can a can be written as real part of z and b can be written as imaginary part of z. Can be written as imaginary part of z. So we can write a also as real part of z and b as imaginary part of z. But to make sense, we have to write a and b. If we write a and b, then we have to write that a is the real part of z and b is the imaginary part of z, which means that the equation will be a plus ib, which is equal to z, which is equal to z. Now we know this much, we know this much. Now if we see this triangle, now if we see this triangle, then if we take this to this direction, this is that right angle triangle, copy of it. This is that right angle. What is this length? This is a, this is b. What is this? Modulus of z. Modulus of z. Now we have to find what is modulus of z. We know Pythagoras theorem. So which means that modulus of z squared will be equal to a squared plus b squared. A squared plus b squared is mod z whole squared. Mod z squared. Okay. So now if I take mod z whole squared, a squared plus b squared over here, so we get mod z will be equal to taking square root on both sides or taking this 2 and putting it over here, so it will become square root. So it will be a squared plus b squared, which means that mod of z is equal to square root of a squared plus b squared, or we can write it as square root of real part of z squared plus imaginary part of z the whole square. In this format also we can write of real part and imaginary part also, and mod z is real part of z the whole square plus imaginary part of z the whole square, the total root. So square root of real part of z the whole square plus imaginary part of z the whole square will be the modulus of z, or we can write it as mod z is equal to root of a square plus b square. This is all about modulus. This is all about modulus. Now what about argument? What about argument? Now suppose if I take that same graph, that is this graph, and if I take this angle, if I consider this angle is theta. This angle is theta. Now what is this angle known as? This angle is known as argument of z. This angle is known as argument of z. Argument is also called as amplitude also can be written as AMP of z. Amplitude of z and argument of z are equal. Argument is also known as this angle, which is theta, written as ARGZ, and amplitude also known as theta, which is the same as argument, will be AMP of z, short form, that is amplitude of z is AMP of z. Now this angle is theta. Now we have to find the value of theta in the terms of A and B. In the term of A and B. So now if we use trigonometry, then this angle is theta. So what is sine theta? What is sine theta? Sine theta is opposite by hypotenuse. Opposite to angle theta is B by mod z. So let mod z be equal to r. Mod z be equal to r. So we will get sine theta as B by z, B by r. And cos theta will be adjacent by hypotenuse, which will be equal to A by r. So now if we take this r and multiply it to cos theta and sin theta respectively, so we'll get B is equal to r into sin theta and A is equal to r into cos theta. Now here we get B is equal to r sin theta, A is equal to r into cos theta. Now what if we take tan theta? So we'll get tan theta as sin theta by cos theta. Tan theta is sin theta upon cos theta. So we know that sin theta is equal to B by r, cos theta is equal to A by r, which means that tan theta is equal to B by r into r by A. R and r get cancelled, so we'll get B upon A. So now we can see over here, this is B and this is A. We can represent it, that is A, what is A? Real part of Z, what is B? Imaginary part of Z. We have represented it, that is tan theta is equal to B by A. What is theta then? What is theta? Using inverse trigonometric functions, so we will get tan theta is equal to B by A. So which means that theta is equal to tan inverse of B by A. This is the formula for the argument, that is tan inverse of B by A, which is the answer. So here theta, which is also known as argument of Z, will be equal to tan inverse of what is B? Imaginary part of Z upon what is A? Real part of Z. So which means that theta, which is equal to argument of Z, is equal to tan inverse of imaginary part of Z upon real part of Z. Or by the way, we can write it as B by A also. So tan inverse of B by A also we can write. So now what if I take theta, what if I take Z, which is a complex number, as 1 plus 1a? What if I take as 1 plus 1a? Then now suppose if I take the graph and plot the point of the complex number, that is 1 plus 1a, and plot the point of 1 plus 1a. Now this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, which means that this length will be equal to this length. This length is 1, this length is 1, which means that what will be this length? This length will be 45 degree. This length will be 45 degree. If I have to convert it into radians, because trigonometry is mostly based on radians, so 45 degrees to radians. So what we have to do? 45 into which term we have to multiply? We have to multiply pi by 180. we have to multiply pi by 180. So here 9 into 5 is 45, 9 to 18, 0, 5, 4 is 20. So it will be equal to pi by 4. So which means that 45 degree will be equal to pi by 4. Which means we can find that argument of 1 plus 1i is equal to pi by 4 radians, like this, or this is radians. Okay. So argument of 1 plus 1i will be equal to pi by 4 radians. Argument of 1 plus 1i will be equal to pi by 4 radians. Now suppose if I take 3 plus 4i. Suppose if I take 3 plus 4i, then what? Then what is a real part? Real part is 3, imaginary part is 4. It is lying in first quadrant. Then there is no problem. We can directly take tan inverse of it. Now if I consider it, this is 3 units and this is 4 units. Now just I am considering, it is not accurate. Now if I consider that this is the line of mod of 3 plus 4i, this point represents 3 plus 4i. Why this line is mod of it? Because it is joining to the origin. This point is 3 plus 4i. What will be this length? This length will be mod of 3 plus 4i. What will be this length? This length is mod of 3 plus 4i. This point is 3 plus 4i. That is 3 comma 4. 3 comma 4. Now if I represent or imagine this line like this, and then if I see the angle, then if I consider the angle, then we can see that it will lying in first quadrant. Then we have to take directly, that is, this is 3, this is 4, and take tan inverse of it. So tan inverse of what is b? 4 by 3. So 4 by 3. Now we can find the value of 4 by 3, tan inverse of 4 by 3. So let it be as it is. So tan inverse of 4 by 3 as it is. So what will be the argument of 3 plus 4i? It will be equal to tan inverse of 4 by 3. What if it is lying in fourth quadrant? What if it is lying in fourth quadrant? Then what? We can take the angle like this also, or we can take the angle like this. If I take the angle like this, then it will be negative. If I take the angle like this, then it will be positive. Then it will be positive. Now why? Because angle is going down. Angle is going down, which means that it will be in negative form. Now you may have the question that suppose if I start from here and go till here, then this angle will be positive. This angle will be negative. If I go from here, measurement will be same. Measurement will be same. But what if we take that angle as the argument and substitute the value and then find the value? Then the answer in both the cases will be equal. Because both of this is representing this same angle. Positive also, negative also. This is in negative, this is in positive, by which we can take the argument of the complex number which is lying in fourth quadrant, third quadrant, or second quadrant, or first quadrant. First quadrant is, by the way, easy. So which means that suppose it is lying in this quadrant, which means first we have to add pi, then take tan inverse of it. Why? Because already this angle is added. That's why when it is lying in fourth quadrant, then substitute that it is negative of this angle. What if it is lying in third quadrant? Then add pi, then add this angle. What will be this angle? This angle will be argument. This will be argument, by which we can find the argument of any complex number by which format? By using Argand-Plane also. Now how to represent that this complex number is lying in which type of quadrant? Now when first number, that is real part of z, is positive, imaginary part of z is positive, then this is positive, then it is lying in first quadrant. What if in the second quadrant? In second quadrant, this is positive, that is imaginary part is positive, real part is negative, then it is lying in second quadrant. In third quadrant, this is negative, which means that the number is lying in the third quadrant. By which condition? By which that the both real part and imaginary part are negative. So it is lying in third quadrant. In fourth quadrant, this we can see that real axis is positive, imaginary axis is negative. So the number is lying in fourth quadrant when this real part is positive and imaginary part is negative. and imaginary part is negative. This is all about argument. This is all about argument. Now next, what is next? Next is about polar form of complex number. Now what is polar form of complex number? That is when the question comes like this, that is 1 plus 2i whole to the power 8. 1 plus 2i whole to the power 8. Then by using just in this formula, that is a plus b the whole squared whole to the power 4. First find a plus b the whole squared, then raise to the power 4, then here a plus b convert 1 plus 2i like this into complex number, multiply it 8 times like this, then it will take a lot of time. Now what about polar form of complex number? Now if I use polar form of complex number and use de Moivre's theorem, then it will be easy. It will be represented in a single number, sometimes in a single number, but in trigonometric forms also. Polar form, which is a trigonometric form of representation of complex number. Trigonometric form of representation of complex number. This, that is polar form of complex number. Polar form of complex number. Exponential form of complex number. Trigonometric form is polar form. Trigonometric form is polar form, which consists of what? Modulus and argument. Modulus and argument. And exponential form is just Euler's identity. It is Euler's identity. We can prove it also, that Euler's identity. Next is de Moivre's theorem. De Moivre's theorem. De Moivre's theorem. De Moivre's theorem can be proved easily. De Moivre's theorem can be proved easily using these two methods. First is by using method of induction, that is fourth chapter, which is based on mathematical induction and binomial theorem. That is, mathematical induction is the type that we can prove any of the following. Let it be 1 plus 2 plus 3 continue till plus n is equal to n times n plus 1 upon 2. But why? Prove it. Then we can't prove it by general method, that is by taking LHS and then simplifying it, then giving at n plus n into n plus 1 by 2. But by using method of induction, we can find a value or prove it easily. Now de Moivre's theorem can be also proved using method of induction also. But de Moivre's theorem very easily can be proved using these two, that is polar form of complex number and exponential form. That's it. That is, by using polar form of complex number and exponential form of complex number, we can prove de Moivre's theorem also. Now here one part, that is when we take argument, when we take this complex number and argument and add it or subtract it or multiply it or divide it, then what happened to the argument and the modulus of it? Now in the exponential form, that we will learn it, that e to the power I theta, and then e to the power I theta is first then rotated like this, which is based on rotation of complex number. It is an easy part which is based on polar form, exponential form, de Moivre's theorem, also cube root of unity, that we will learn in a next video. Thank you.